Hello and welcome to Tuesdays with the Ambassador of Hope. My name is Ofosu-Appiah and I'm so happy to be with you guys here today for our last meeting of the year. And I want you guys to please let us know what you've learnt this year in this wonderful series. Please leave comments and we'll read them out loud. But first of all, before we get started, I'd like to turn it over to my dad to give us the acknowledgements for the year.
Well, thank you, Nana. All too soon, the year is coming to an end. Our last episode, like Nana just said, and I know it's been a wonderful ride. And like she told you, whatever you've learned this year, that is a highlight. Just show it to us in the chat. Do that. Sure, but every day we do that in every episode. Pick up your device. Please share. This is the last one. It's going to be different. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. Nana will tell you exactly why tonight is so different. You don't want to miss it. And so, Nana Osei Kusibwedum Shepherd, welcome. So good to have you tonight. Pastor David Joe, you are watching us from the Republic of Virginia. Deborah Peters, Debbie, God bless you. Adley Techimensa, God bless. Auntie Mary Frimpong, so happy to have you here. Colin Sobin, my intercessor, thank you so much for being here. Akosia Trema, Akosia, how are you tonight? All the way from cold Toronto, Canada, Nana Kunedu Brefo. Nana, thank you for coming up tonight. Ajua Frema, Sandy, how are you doing? Louisa Missy Fash, Missy, I trust that life is treating you well. My one and only Honorable Adom Eje, a champion. You promised you'll be glued to this thing live. I saw it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Adam got married 2 days ago. Adam, how is marriage? 2 days. I'm sure you're enjoying it. Say hello to Patience for us. We are so glad for you and congratulations. Nanefua, so good to have you here tonight. So many of you, Nana Joan Techi, Nana Naj. Wow, God bless you so much. God bless you so much. Praise my miracle woman. I hope you are doing very well. Eunice Asma, Auntie, how are you doing? God bless you so much. Evangelist Josephine Echabwaten. There are so many of you right here today. And let me quickly check my YouTube crowd. Let me quickly check my YouTube crowd, and I'm going to hand over to Nana in a minute. But just bear with me. Let me just check my YouTube crowd and let's see who is here, who is not there. Let's check the roll. I've told you every day that we are family, so I really like to check up on you, see how you are doing, see who is here and who has just slept off in the program so we can discipline you next time. But look at that. God bless you, Yvonne. Patrick, God richly bless you. Sandra, Amwa, Marian, Honu Marian. I was thinking about you and your husband today. I hope you are doing very well. You are in my heart and my prayers. So many of you here. But you know something? I'm going to hand over to Nana and she's going to get right over. I'm sure it's going to be a blast. It's going to be amazing. Please share, and let's keep this thing rolling. Over to you, Nana.
Thank you. So today is a wonderful, wonderful occasion. Yesterday, my parents celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. So congratulations once again. 40 years is no joke. So today we will have a special Tuesdays with the Ambassador of Hope. I'm going to ask them some questions. And I'm going to ask you, if you have any questions for them, please leave them in the chat and we'll read them. And hopefully they can answer them for us today. So my first question for the both of you is, let's start pretty simple. What qualities do you look for in a partner?
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Just like Bishop said, I believe we're going to have a good time this evening, and it's our last installment for Ambassador of Hope, and I believe and hope that you've learned something for your life. For me, as a woman, the main quality that I look for in a man is someone that has vision, because God made me as a helpmate. And so anytime I come in to help. So the man must have something going. The man must have a vision so that when I come in to help to make, the vision come to pass. So the first quality I look at is vision.
And you?
Well, I guess Well, not well. I'm the man, isn't it? Qualities that I look for. It's, it's somebody with the simple goodness of their heart. Somebody willing to adapt. Somebody willing to love. Somebody willing to adjust. Somebody willing to work together with a vision. Like Mommy said about the fact that the woman is the helper, whichever way. You know, this one of the taboo words today is submission, and rightly so because people have abused the word. Woman submit, 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 and we've taken it like no, be subjugated, be walked over, be put in your quote unquote place, which is totally out of place. Submission comes from two words, sub and mission. So the man must have a vision, and the woman comes and act with it, as it were, to move the vision forward. So I think you look for somebody who is willing to work with your vision, somebody who will not have division, but vision, drive, push you, help you. So that is what. But of course, everybody's needs are relative. So that's the thing.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And we all know not every marriage is always going to be a series of highlights. There are also going to be some lowlights in it as well. So my question for you is, when those low times happen, how do you navigate hardships in your relationship? What's some good practical tips you can give for people?
You go.
Well, then I feel that marriage as an institution has players within it. That is the man and the woman, and if there are children, that's fine. And for me, whenever you come into crisis or you come into situations, that is where your values and the things that are on the inside of you begin to manifest. Marriage does not make somebody better. Marriage reveals what is already on the inside of you. I tell people that, like, for example, pressures and crisis do not really determine the person. It determines what is on your inside already. So when the high times or when the low times come, like you are saying, I believe that the things that you have prepared yourself for, the things that are on the inside of you. And for me, as a Christian, the basics of God's word, press on, resilience, all these things begin to play in. And at the base of it all, there's one thing that is always at the back of my mind. This also will pass. No problem that started is permanent. Everything that has a beginning has an end, except God. So if I look at it that way, not that I'm going to be passive and sit down and do nothing about it, I'll work my way towards a solution, praying and trusting that this one too shall pass. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, you said it all. And you know, in life we all go through crisis. For me, that is why the marital vow is ever so important, for better, for worse.
right.
So in times of worse, what do you do? And just like Bishop said, the players involved are so much important in this situation. Your attitude in the crisis is very, very important. What you have built on the inside of you come to play when there are crises. And so in life, we all go through crisis. When one ends, the other one will come someday, sometime, which we are not prepared for. We don't know when, we don't know how it's going to come. But again, this too shall pass. That should be our attitude in every crisis.
So let me ask, does that once again tie in with what you're talking about, picking a partner with the right qualities, so that in times of crisis or hardships, you said marriage reveals who you are inside. So that way, if they have good qualities to begin with, even in times of crisis, they'll treat you with kindness,
Yes.
and not speak harshly.
Yes.
Can you expand a bit more on that?
Yeah. Now the thing about it, like I always say, let's give an example. I have in my hands a face cloth. This is dry right now.
Yes.
If I take this cloth and I soak it in water and I squeeze it, what comes out?
Water.
It's water. If I take the same cloth and I put it in, say, diesel, soak it, and I squeeze it, what comes out?
Diesel.
Diesel. So I believe that under pressure, what is on the inside of you is what manifests. So in life, you know, it almost feels like I'm going ahead of myself because of how my mind works and my assignment. Like tomorrow, I'll be doing with an assignment, the global empowerment. But one of the things I'm talking about is what the preparations that you make when there are no problems yet. Noah did not build his ark in the rain. He built his ark before the rain. And I'm sure when he was building the ark, people might have laughed at him because nobody has seen rain before. But for 120 years, he talked about what was coming. So when the rain came, he and his family were saved. So again, I feel that through life, don't waste your experiences. Don't waste your crisis. They are all something that you might need tomorrow or the day after. So live your life in the mode of preparation. You know, in aircraft language, now they have this thing that they talk about. Prepare for the worst, expect the best.
Yes.
Prepare for the worst, expect the best. So in life, you just get yourself prepared. If the worst comes, you can meet it head on. If the best comes, hooray. That's how I feel.
So would you recommend something like having counseling, even if there isn't any issues in your marriage? So would that be a form of preparing? No, a lot of people, they do premarital counseling, and then they wait till something happens before they go back to counseling. Would you recommend maybe having check-ins regularly during the marriage? It may not be with an external party, but even between the two of you, just to make sure you can maybe foresee any hardships that may come and avoid them if you can. Do you recommend that?
Are you saying check in with other
Not with your
married
partner.
people?
Oh yeah, or if
But I think that is where communication comes in, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe communication is key in marriage. You have to have a way to communicate in times of crisis, in times of good times, in times of bad times. It's very important that we communicate and talk about things because communication is key in every marriage.
And then talking about that, and again, you asked a very valid thing. Sometimes I think that people wait until there's trouble before they look for solutions. I believe that maintenance is always better than repair.
Yes.
Maintenance is always better than repair. So I feel that every marriage, some of you looking at me also who are not married yet, have coaches in your life, mentors in your life. You don't consult them only when there's trouble. Ask questions, observe. And these things will come handy. For me, that is education. Education is not just in the four walls of a classroom, but life, observation, asking questions, informal ways. Those things really help, Nana.
And also, involving yourself in, marital seminars and all those things.
Books.
It enhances your marriage.
Or just arming yourself with tools.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. So I have a question. 40 years, like we said, we've established as a long time. How do you prevent complacency creeping into your relationship?
For me, I think you have to be intentional. Because you said married for 40 years, there's a tendency for you to be complacent. You've lived with the person for 40 years. So you have to be intentional, not to be complacent in the marriage. Intentional in the things you do, intentional with the things you say, because you don't want to be familiar with the person you are living with. So for me, intentionality is key.
Okay. Do you have any specific examples? Just, is it simple things like making, if you know it's your partner's birthday, actually doing something for them, or maybe taking them out, you're just not taking them for granted? Do you have any
simple things like going for us for example, what we do every month is at least twice a month we go out on a date. It could be somewhere simple, like spending $30, $50, but we just have ourselves to ourselves. We do that intentionally. So little things like that. But sometimes if you've lived with somebody for a long time, you tend to be familiar, or whatever. And for us as Christians, we think that, the man, he doesn't have anywhere to go. He's stuck in this.
I can go to my mother.
She doesn't have anywhere to go. But no, you want to create an atmosphere of peace in the home. It's very, very important, and it's very key.
Now, may I come in a little bit? I was just going to add in what Mommy said in the end. I know that our majority audience are Christians. connected to us. And again, sometimes we use the name of God to destroy things, especially when we take our spouses for granted. Like Mommy said, if you know, the Bible talks no divorce, no this, you can't go anywhere, you can't go do blah, 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 blah. Listen, you can't give things to chance, all because somebody or you are a Christian. You've got to understand that there are things that fight us, and if you overlook these things, it's going to hurt you. I don't want to sound preachy, but no, sorry, but my things are limited. He told us that for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife and the two. That word cling is an active word. It's an active word that it's like keep chasing and stick like glue. Keep chasing and stick like
static.
It's not static. Yes, it's dynamic. So if what you saw with the woman, the way she did her hair, the way she kept herself, a woman, if that is what the man saw and started chasing you, signing the marriage certificate is not an indication to stop. That is what you did for him to keep doing it for him to keep chasing you. So it's intentionality, like Mommy said. It's so very important.
Years, he's still
40 years, maybe not, but I try to avoid it.
No, you guys like each other, please. That's one thing I've noticed. You actually enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
So it ties back in with looking at the right qualities before you even marry somebody.
Yeah.
Like I said yesterday when we were celebrating the two of you, that I've never seen you communicate with each other with anything other than respect. And that's one thing I've taken on board, and I hope other people too. Like, respect is key. Like, you have to respect your partner, and it goes both ways as well. I think you'd agree with me there.
Yeah, for once, I agree. A few times that I agree with you, Nana. Yes.
So, another question is, I know it's not easy because you two are also in a kind of unique situation. You're both pastors. So it's an added element of, some people may say, stress or potential problems in a marriage, because we all know ministry is not an easy job to take on. And if you add a marriage and a whole family into that, so how do you separate your relationship as pastor and congregant and husband and wife? Because daddy's still your pastor, right, Mommy? Mm-hmm. So how do you draw a line?
She doesn't give me offerings.
So they're not blurred. So how do you, because I know we have other pastors and pastors' wives watching us, so some practical tips, like how do you separate the two?
Somebody has given a comment. Can I read it to you, Nana?
Yes.
Well, he actually thinks you are Nicole, but this is Nana. This is Nicole's big sister. So this is Nana. This is Nana, my firstborn. And somebody is saying that, my beautiful sister, your accent is quite hard for me. Could you please slow down small for me, please?
I'm sorry.
No, it's Shepherd. It's just been, Shepherd, come on. Go ahead. Right. She asked your question. Go ahead.
How do you separate the two?
For me, you can't really separate the two. Okay. But again, you have to be intentional in separating the two.
Okay.
Because I believe that bad relationship or bad marriage will lead to bad ministry. Okay. And good ministry will also lead to good marriage.
Because how can you be a good minister and shepherd of God and not treat your wife and your family in a good way?
That's right. Yes. And for us, we work together. Mm-hmm. And so it goes together. Ministry and marriage and relationship, it's kind of somehow mashed in. You can't really separate the two. But, for example, I'm going to use my life or our life as an example. For example, Mondays are our off days.
I hope everybody heard that.
Off days.
Yes.
We try as much as we can not to talk about anything ministry. It's our off rest days. You understand me? So again, it comes down to intentionality, because it's very easy to carry the ministry home. Yes. You understand me? But we are intentional in doing that. That Mondays are off days. And so we come and do whatever we want to do. He doesn't like to watch movies, but these days I'm trying to,
Yeah, no, you watched the movie. I was surprised. He told me twice.
Yeah, twice, actually. Twice.
Twice.
You can tell I was very bored.
Yes. Before I go to my dad for his question, I want to remind you guys to please send me any questions you have for them, and we'll read them out shortly. And yes, so how do you separate the two, Daddy?
I believe it's pretty much what Mommy said, Nana. Intentionality again. For me, one of the things that I have done is to make sure that my home does not become an extension of church. And I'm sure if I'm wrong, you will be a good witness because you've been around this thing for almost all your life. I try to do that because I feel that home must be home. I'm not saying that home is a desecrated place, but home is home where people can relax, where family can be. I don't speak in King James. I don't float about speaking in tongues at home and that kind of thing, quoting scriptures all over the place. I try to have quote unquote like a normal life as possible. And that demands that I am always intentional, like she said, like the Monday thing, no church matters, no church discussions, have time for ourselves and our kids. So that is the thing.
Thank you. So our questions from those of you watching at home.
Let me see if we can find some questions
Yes.
from us. Ask something. Actually, they are not asking questions, so we may have to finish. Okay, go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So somebody had a question. At what stage of your relationship did you know you'd end up getting married to each other?
Well, she married me, so I don't know. She has to answer. I think it wasn't something that we kind of. I don't remember. It's been 40 years ago. What happened? I don't know. Though, Nana, truthfully, in our time, we weren't as sophisticated as today. Today you go through all this elaborate process. You don't have to go on your knees, give the ring, do the this, go to the pre-engagement, pre-announcement, giving a ring, a party. We never had that. I think.
But I'm going to push you. There must have been a time when you guys were talking to each other where you decided that, okay, we want to get married to each other. So when was that?
No, you mean in months or?
Yeah. At what stage? Like, had you just started? You just met and you already knew you were going to get married?
Oh no, we
after a few months.
After a few months, maybe 8 months.
Yeah,
Something. 8 months.
And what quality? So the same qualities you said before. You saw he had vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it's very important for to us as women. I think it's very important that the man we want to spend the rest of our lives with, has vision. It's very important because if we are not careful as women, we might tend to go ahead of the man, which is not a good thing to do. We come in to help, but when we come in and there's nothing going,
nobody follows a parked car.
Again, nobody follows a parked car. So it becomes very difficult and tough for us. So it's very important that, the man comes in with something, and it can be an add-on during the years of marriage or relationship or whatever, but there must be something going.
Thank you. So Raymond has a question for you, Daddy.
Yes.
He said, "What was your pickup line?"
Well, because I was very spiritual in those days, my pickup line was, "Hey, lady, I see it myself changing thy name, changing thy last name to come and Ofosu-Appiah. What says that? Says the Spirit of the Lord." So that was the pickup line, Raymond.
Wow.
No, Raymond, he's kidding. He's kidding, right?
Oh, of course he knows I'm kidding. Of course, everybody knows I'm kidding. I don't know. No. That's what I'm saying. In my time, was there anything like pickup lines and that kind of thing? No.
But how did you let her know you were interested in her?
She did. I don't know. I'm kidding. I don't even know. I think we started talking and things. I don't know. Maybe they'll read about it in our book.
Okay. Let's see.
You're dying to know. We're not telling you.
We had this question, but I actually think you've answered most of it about being intentional in building your marriage. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Some
What are
practical
some things
tips?
that's intentional?
Boundaries.
Exactly.
Boundaries, especially for me, especially what I do. Whether you know it or not, whether I like it or I am painfully aware of the fact that the anointing is very attractive. So I have to set my boundaries. And no is no. Yes is yes. For me, very intentional on that. So I'm sure for a lot of people who know me, everybody thinks they are very close to me. And I know that I'm not close to anybody. It's boundaries. Skill in leadership. That brings longevity of marriage and life. That's I don't know about you.
And again, you have to be intentional in respecting each other. More so if you've lived for 40 years with the person, there's a tendency for you to, lose respect for your partner. That, oh, you've been with the person for a lot, whatever, you should do this yourself. Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And so you have to be intentional in building respect, because for me, respect is key. Um, I've been in many counseling where the man's the man's cry is for respect. So you have to be intentional in giving your spouse the respect that he needs.
And can I come in? And I think what Mami said is so true. Um, Again, please again forgive me, not sounding preachy again. I think in Ephesians, Paul gives us an insight into that.
Yes.
Every time the Lord has addressed the man, he tells the man to love the woman. I don't think he has addressed the woman to love the man. It's the man, love your wife, love your wife. Then the woman see that you respect the husband. So anytime you love your wife genuinely, she will respect you. And anytime you respect your husband genuinely, he will love you.
Yeah, I believe.
God instituted marriage and he knew it ahead of time that is what we're going to need. So when we do that, it happens. And I think there was a question for you.
Yes.
Oh, it's running. Well,
yes. Somebody, Nana Morrison, asked, she believes at a young age you knew the calling on your life. So what were some of the things you were looking for a partner in regards to that? Because you were a pastor, you knew you were going to be a pastor, were there additional aspects? You both spoke about vision and just know your partner has good qualities. Were there additional qualities you'd look for knowing your wife would be a pastor's wife?
For me, straight up the board, I always say that I think I've been incredibly fortunate in life. I remember I told my pastor about this marriage issue, and I remember one evening when he called Mommy and talked about that thing that I've told him. And I remember clearly that evening when he asked Mommy, this young man has a call of God upon his life. Are you willing to marry somebody who has a call of God upon them? And I remember she said yes. So it was that simplicity, almost bordering on naivety, that we took, in the integrity of our hearts, we worked on it. So it wasn't something very sophisticated that I was looking for. I saw somebody I liked. I saw qualities that I liked. I saw something that I was very comfortable with. And I felt that if that individual comes to my life, a whole lot of things will fall into place. For me, that was it. Yes.
Wonderful.
Because I didn't marry you when you were a pastor.
No.
So Raymond actually had another question for us. And I think this applies because you guys have you've lived in three different countries, right? Yeah. Since you got married. So he said, what advice do you have for long distance relationships?
It depends on how long the relationship is.
Like how long you've been together? Or
well,
what do you mean?
Long distance relationship.
Let's say one lives in...
Because there was a time Daddy lived in California, you were in London. Do you know what I mean? So what advice do you have for people in those situations where they can't physically be in the same place?
I think, again, communication. And today, mercifully, because of technology, you can do video calls and all that. In our time, there was nothing like that. But communication, aside communication, somehow you should try your best to meet. It could be once, twice, 3 times, however you can manage for you to meet is very important, because long distance relationship can't be forever. It cannot be forever. So I understand at a point there would be a degree of sacrifice where one will have to sacrifice for the other to, stay away a little bit and for you to take care of the kids or something like that. But it can't be forever. So at a point, you have to somehow meet.
And again, on the long distance relationship thing, if it's like starting, I think maybe that is the idea that the person is asking about. I'm sure that is like you are now starting and somebody lives in, let's say, Canada, the other one lives in Australia. Maybe you met once, you went your separate ways, you've been talking. What comes to my mind, again, forgive me, readily, is what the master told us, that do to others what you want them to do to you. So if you want them to be faithful where they are, you be faithful where you are. Treat them right, do what is right, and then accountability. Accountability is very, very important. I do not believe in perpetual long-distance relationships. I do not believe in that. You must do whatever it is and try your level best, unless there are some situations that make it quote unquote almost impossible, then which means you have to be pragmatic and think about it. Because if you're in a nation and let's say you are not able to travel, you are not able to make your move, and the other person is on the other side, you guys want to marry, and it's been 15, 20 years, for the life of me, come on. I don't advise that. I do not advise that. I think both of you are wasting your time. We have to say it as it is. Sometimes, listen, they tell us love is blind, but sometimes love too must have a wake-up alarm clock.
Yes. Marie Peters has a question, and you both got married very young. I believe you were 22 and you were 25
Yes.
when you got married. And Marie says, Pastor, you always say that the person you marry will be a different person to the person you take home. During those years, how have both of you given each other margins to grow or evolve?
Well, thank you, Marie. But I think in life we all have to grow physically, grow relationally, grow in our emotions, grow spiritually. We have to grow. And in every marriage, you start like a baby and you grow through the marriage and you evolve. That is how it's supposed to be. But you have to give the person room to grow, because you are also growing. And in growing, you grow together as a couple. And that really helps in the relationship. Maybe there might be some attributes in your life or attitudes that you know that is not good for the relationship. You grow out of that attitude, and in growing out of that attitude, your relationship will become better, because once you become better, your relationship becomes better.
You asking me too?
Yes. Do you have anything to add or the same?
For me, one of the things that really trouble relationships for me is unreasonable expectations. Sometimes people go into marriage with all kinds of, we read too many Hans Christian Andersen books, where, they live happily ever after. And, I say it all the time that a lot of fairy tales, they start with once upon a time and they end up with they live happily ever after. But in between the once upon a time and living happily ever after, there's a middle, that is mercy. And that is where the growth comes in. That's where the adjustment comes in. That's where you get better as you grow, getting to know the person, getting to know and putting their needs before yours. Because sometimes selfishness and unreasonable expectations really damages a relationship. Love alone is not enough. Mm-hmm. Love alone is not enough.
That is a very good point. Marian Honu had a question for you. Did you both have the same level of spirituality at the onset?
No, we didn't.
Okay, answer.
We didn't have the same, we didn't. Well, we all have the same values, but we didn't have the same spirituality. I believe his spirituality was bad.
That's another level. Yeah, I guess, again, I was I think the radical, go get it, Monday to Monday, Christian. That was mine. I always praying, always at church. When I got born again, I got born again to the bone. It was like a vending machine. Anything you put in, it comes out of me. She wasn't pretty much like that. But gradually, I schooled her and I brought her up to speed. I think there was a person up there that she was put up there.
So what traditions from your family of origin did you bring into your marriage, and what new traditions did you start together?
Tradition.
Do we have family traditions that you brought in? Things you did at home that you continued when you two got married?
What? Anything?
The family tradition.
For me, tradition, I don't know. Tradition, not really. We just minded our business. Well, I came out of it, and I'm sure Mommy too, we were very close-knit, and we are still close-knit as a family. And those are the things that we brought into our marriage. And Nana, if you remember, I always kept, in the days the few times that I really used to scream at you and your siblings when you were feuding a little bit, I always say, you are the only ones that you have. You are the only ones that you have. If you remember that. Mm-hmm. And I said, why are you fighting? You are the only one. You don't have anybody. You don't have any extended things who will fight for us. Stick together. I'm sure you remember that. So for me, that is sticking together through thick and thin, sticking together. I would do love for
polygamous family as well.
Yeah, so
yes. So that was something you didn't want to
contribute.
No. So there's some traditions you should also learn to break.
Yeah.
Yes.
In your new marriage.
Yes.
Not just continue as well. Yes, that's wonderful. So, over the past 40 years, how have you managed conflict, and what approach has worked best for you?
That's conflict between us?
Yes.
Okay, then let her answer.
I mean, conflicts are normal in relationship. You have to understand that. But how you manage the conflict is very important. Over the past 40 years, anytime there's a conflict, we talk, we communicate, we talk about it. But sometimes we have to let, it cool down a little bit, few hours before we talk about it. But whatever it is, we talk about it. You can agree to disagree, but you still have to talk about it.
I think one thing that I want to say up front is for people not to think that we are a perfect couple. Honestly, doing this episode, I had a lot of trepidation in my heart because I'm painfully aware of the fact that there are people who are struggling in their marriages and their relationships. And today, I'm also aware of what social media does. That a lot of times, social media does not tell the truth. And so people look at you, 40 years. I saw yesterday the internet almost broke. And all the good things that were said about us. But we are not always good. We are not always perfect. In fact, we've never been perfect, and we don't intend to be. So there are times that we disagree. But one of the things that I can confidently say is the fact that we do not disrespect each other. I don't remember the last time personally that I've said an unkind word to her out of anger. And I don't remember the last time she ever said that to me. For me, it's your values, it's who you are and who you determine to be. Because I'd rather not say something than to say it and go back to apologize. Never forget that. I'd rather not say something than to say it and go back to apologize. Because once something leaves your mouth, you may apologize, but will it leave their minds? Will the scar go? The wound will be healed, but with the scar will remain. So for me, I'm sure Nana, they live up close and personal with us before when they are separate ways. But no, I don't have it in me to do that. So respect again. Definitely.
Respect is key. It's unrealistic to not expect conflicts, but it's how you handle them. Yeah. So another question from one of our viewers: what do we do if all the children are grown and there seems to be distance in the relationship? You've now become strangers. How would you come back and try to rescue that situation?
Like the married couple when their children are gone?
Yes.
I think she's the best to answer that. Because yesterday she answered it somewhere. Like, the children all grow up, they are gone. And then you realize that you didn't really grow your friendship. And that puts a lot of people apart. So go ahead. I think you give it. I answered it.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Seek counseling.
Yes, you seek counseling. I think you seek counseling. You know, don't ever forget this. I think I tell people a lot. I tell parents a lot. Those who are inordinately stuck with their children. I tell them that one day the children will leave home. Make sure that you build your marriage and relationship in such a way that after the children leave home, you and your spouse suddenly don't find out that you have been strangers for a long time. This can easily lead to divorce, separation, almost because the only thing that held you together were the children. But the children will leave home. So for me, I love my children to bits. But at the end of the day, I am conscious of the fact that they will leave home one day. Nana doesn't live with us. Her brother Koku doesn't live with us. The other brother, hardly lives with us because of school. And the one who lives with us, I hardly see her, because we all have the agenda, but we have each other. And for me, that is the thing, whether they are here or not, I have a friend. So please, 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 don't get into the marriage and say, oh, it's my children, everything my children. One day, they become adults. But if it's happening to you, seek help. Seek help.
And to the one on the line that just married or maybe young in your marriage, please, in your marriage, try to build friendship along the way. Build it gradually, because you'll get to a time, just like he said, that everybody will leave home. You'll be left with your friend. Not only your husband or your wife, but your best friend.
Marion had a bit of a funny question. She said, Mummy, what's the most annoying thing Daddy does? And Daddy, what's Mummy's pet peeve?
I have a lot. Let her say her first. I'm not going to say mine first. I want her to say her first so that I can balance it. Yeah.
When he comes around and behaves, he's macho. And then walks in the room and starts dancing.
I would dance outside, but I can't dance.
Yes, he would dance outside, but he walks in the room, he sees you, and he starts dancing. It annoys me.
Honestly, yesterday we had dinner with some very good friends of ours, and the secret that came out was that I have OCD. It's like I am so meticulous with things, and Mommy is the one. She doesn't care. I mean, that kind of thing. I am the one that will dress the bed before I wake up. That kind of thing. And for me, I'm always following her about putting things in order. She will open the door and not shut it. I'll go and shut it. She will leave the lights on. I'll go and so that's the thing. But it's not that it annoys me, but that is me. So it's the OCD thing. Please pray for me.
Thank you. Efwa Ado had a question. How do you kindly advise in terms of raising kids? How do you maintain a united front?
I think at the end of the day, you don't want your kids to, you want to be united, like you said, in the decisions you make. As couples, you have to be careful not to let your kids come between the two of you. One would, agree on something and the other one would not.
That's something you've never done, to be fair.
No.
When we were younger, if I asked you something and you gave me an answer, there was nowhere I could go to my dad and he had a different answer. If he found out I did that, it would be whichever answer you got first. That's what. Mm-hmm. So if you said no and he said yes, but he found out you said no, the answer is no. Mm-hmm. So I've always appreciated it. You learn quickly. Kids, everyone thinks they're smart. They'll go to each parent and see where the favorable answer lies. But you kind of nip that in the bud very, very early. Mm-hmm. I remember.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you have to be united in every decision that you make. As
And to the kids, let me tell you how you can have your way. Anytime you wait and you see that they are not on speaking terms, that's when you play your card.
That way they don't find out. Yes. So, someone has a question for me. How have I managed the pressure of being the firstborn of my parents? I think there's always pressure being a firstborn. There's additional pressure having parents who are pastors as well. My thing is I have boundaries, absolute boundaries. There's not everybody is. You could be friendly, but not everybody is your friend, as you always say. I remember when I was young, Mummy, you always used to say, "Not everyone's your friend. Not everyone's your friend," and I think I've kept that in my mind. It's good to be nice, be a friendly person, but not that you're always expecting the worst from people. But sometimes it happens. Just know and have set boundaries so people don't go past things that you're not comfortable with, because there is that added pressure when you are the oldest child, especially when your parents are pastors. And also to be a good example for your younger siblings, that's added pressure as well. So you have to live your life for yourself. I always say you can't, if you're not good, you can't be good for other people. So you have to make sure you're happy with your life, happy with how you're living your life, so you can, be better for other people. You can be a good sister, you can be a good child, you can be a good friend to other people. So I think that's how I've handled it. I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to judge, but that's how I navigate it, I should say.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe we'll begin to wrap up. Sorry. Let me acknowledge some few people again, very quickly, whilst Nana catches her breath. Honorable Nana Nimo, Nana, God bless you. Thank you for coming to be with us yesterday. Isobel, God richly bless you. Lucretia, Mamle, Lucretia, I like that. God bless you. Jennifer from North Carolina, blessings, Naki. Who is here? Let's see. No, some of these questions just came on the thing, so that's fine. Pastor Richard from the land of 10,000 lakes, Minneapolis, Minnesota. God bless you so much. Well, your question, how do you manage the different seasons of life? I don't know. Nana, no, that'll be for another time. Maybe that'll be for another time. That'll be for another time. Nana, thank you so much. Rajwa Kwe Green is here. You are presented. Keteshe George, my son-in-law from Delaware. God bless you. Abba Abodoma, Gifty, God richly bless you. We're looking forward to having you here in the next so many. Boris Kavia, Boris, God bless. Nanaya, you like this? This is great. Ahava, God richly bless you. Pastor David Yankroma, Tennessee. Mami Nyamiche, we acknowledge you. God richly bless you. Francis Dodu, you are watching. Man of God, you are such a great example. God richly bless you for who you are and for everything that you do. Keteche George says, part 2, please. You have to talk to Nana about that. Nana doesn't live here. She will moderate, so I don't know if she will have mercy next time. I think he can do that. Okay, that's fine. Florin Ajuzi. Florin, God bless you. Kwame Akresi, it was such a blessing seeing you on Christmas Day. You look so good. Gabriela, God bless you. Congratulations on your first semester. Cecilia Lomote, thank you so much. Clifford, New Jersey, great man of God. Clifford, God richly bless you. Robert Hardbonzi, God bless you too. I think that is all I have right here. God richly bless you. Nana, we're going to tell you about it. Then I'm going to admonish for just 2 minutes. Yes. Then we are going to be on our way.
We have some people on YouTube that we didn't acknowledge. So I saw Pastor Prince.
Yes.
From Ghana.
Wendy.
Yes.
Wendy, I think Wendy actually lives in your city in Dallas, Texas. She and her husband are women and man of God. Hey, Muriel, God bless you. Daniel the Eagle. Daniel, he's also in Dallas, Texas. I taught him in seminary in the United Kingdom. Marian, God bless you. Sonia Fisher, God richly bless you. Hetty, you've been one of our own. Hetty, God bless you so much. We miss you. Efuado, thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Marie Peters is there. Nana, I think, yeah. Alexia Theohari, God bless you. Yantri, thank you so much for the nice compliments. Eric Vanderpoy, man of God, thank you so much. Esther Opon is my birthday girl. We share the same birthday, 10th of June. God bless you. Esther, next year we're going to really have a great one. Daniel Soldier, Pencil, God bless you. Sandra Amwa, Sandra, you are such a blessing. I Kwasim Billionaire. Akwesi, God bless you. My resident billionaire, God bless you. Anita, thank you so much for joining. You are such a gracious one of God. Now I'm going to leave it over to you. You're going to sum something, and then I'm going to just exhort people for just 2 minutes, and we are out of here.
Thank you, everybody, for sending us your questions. We hope you've been blessed with some of the answers and you have practical tips to take into any relationship. I think some of these can, as good as they are for marriage, even if you're not married yet, you can use it in all the relationships in your life, in your friendships, to be better in every way possible. So thank you so much again for sending in your questions. We appreciate you. And now we'll have a few short words from my dad.
Right, very few short words. Let me say this. It's been 40 years of God's blessing, God's goodness. I don't think it's because of anything that we have done that is so extraordinary out of the ballpark. We're just ourselves, we had our values, we walked with God. Let me say something to somebody today. Marriage is not a status symbol. It doesn't make one better than somebody else. So if you're not married yet, you are not inferior. And if you are married, you are not superior to anybody. Marriage happens when marriage happens. Somebody is listening to me, your marriage really didn't work out well. Listen, you are not your marriage. You are not your mistakes. You are not what happened to you. If you were hurt, I will advise you, counsel you, let the hurt go and don't let the hurt define you. Of course, let it make you wiser, but don't let it define you. Don't let the unpleasant people of your yesterday hold back the pleasant people of your today and your tomorrow. I believe that God has somebody good somewhere for you. Keep trusting. And also, let me say this to all the married people. Put the other one's needs ahead of you. And if you have selfish tendencies, do all of us a favor. Please don't marry. Marriage, sometimes we read about them, looks like it's But anything that God made is good. It's us humans with our frailties and inadequacies that sometimes taint it. So I would pray for you today that if your marriage is under a lot of pressure, seek help. Seek help. Let it become better. If you are trusting the Lord, I pray that the right person comes your way. It is better to be waiting to marry the right person than to marry the right person to be waiting to get out. May God give you the wisdom. May God give you the grace to walk this journey. And on this last episode for 2022, on behalf of my team, which you haven't seen, maybe we have to look at them one day, put them on camera for people to see them. My team has done an amazing job. Please, when you say a prayer for my team. I have Prince, I have Michelle, I have Gabby, I have Nikki, I have Keris, I have Benison. They have been awesome in this thing. You don't see them because I sit in front of the camera. But without them, this program would not have gone far and wide. I want to say thank you for all of them. Thank you. And those of you who have given at given times when we have asked for you to help us for our leadership project in Africa. Thank you. It's been a wonderful 2022. I look forward to having you in 2023. It's going to get better. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get amazing. May God Almighty help you finish this year well and start next year extraordinarily well. My name is Ofosu-Appiah, your ambassador of hope. And she is?
Mary Ofosu-Appiah.
And she is?
Nana Ofosu-Appiah.
God bless you, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.